Hey, my name is Fear Dragon, and I am here with the one and only Adam Savage Creature. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, Robbie?
I'm doing quite well. It is day 2, and currently we just saw that, spoiler alert, Kelazor advance on to the next round of... He just defeated... Oh my god, I'm actually blanking on this now. It was Snoot. It was Snoot. In the...
Snoot.
I know, right? I love gens.
Yeah.
You should call him gens, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Every time I go up to him, I call him Snoot, but...
You should call him gens because it's actually pronounced Jens, but it annoys the hell out of him.
Oh, so just call him Jens?
Just call him gens. You can also call him yams.
Yams? Oh, I think Annie calls her Yams, right?
Really?
Somebody does. I don't know.
Oh, well, I tried calling him yams, and he was like, no. Please, God, no. All right, so for those who don't know, Adam is a super duper awesome North American Protoss player, of which I feel like a lot of the time when I think about North American Protoss, it's sort of weird because if you look at like brackets and like who qualifies out of North American things, it'll be like, oh man, it's all Protoss. But realistically, it's like there's like 4 Protoss, and then it's like a huge drop.
Yeah, basically there's like Neeb, there's Bales, there's a few
Puck and
oh, how could I forget Puck? Yeah, but basically there's like 3 to 5 Protosses who like consistently qualify for stuff, but then like the rest, I'm kind of in like that middle tier who like can't quite get to their level, even though like I try like a decent amount, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going there, but
no. I think you're definitely one of the players that I think oftentimes undersells himself, because I consider you like. I would be lying if I said that I think you're like Neve level, right, or like Peely level. But I always do consider you to be like 6, like around number 6, where you have like probably I would say it's like to me it's always after the top 4. It's like Neeb, Puck, Peely, and then I think Bales when he's in form. Yeah. Sometimes there's like a weird Bales that shows up to some events, and I'm like, who are you? Are you like Bales' younger brother, like trying to pretend to play on his account? But and I can kind of consider like you, M. Canning recently with like some of the results he's been able to get.
M. Canning is someone who's definitely improved over the last few months, and I know he considers himself like a streamer, kind of, but he works really hard, I know, to like improve his game, and I'm actually happy for him that because me and M. Canning are pretty good friends. We talk a decent amount, and yeah, he works really hard, and it's not easy like being a streamer and trying to improve at the same time. Like I know I could never be a consistent streamer. Like not many people can pull that off, and so yeah, I respect the shit out of that. Like what he does.
Yeah, for sure. But talking a bit about your play, one of the things that I really enjoy about your play style is that you are like a macro Protoss. You're not one of those cheeky Protoss players that like back in Heart of the Swarm would just be 2-base all-inning all the time and everything. You're like just nice, respectable macro games. A really fun style to watch.
Yeah, I would say. Well, funny thing is, like when I first got Masters League, like I was probably the cheesiest piece of shit ever. Like. One of my favorite players back in the day was Combat X. I don't know if you've heard of him. the BM Lat
interview's canceled.
Oh, it's canceled?
I'm kidding.
But yeah, the first time I got Masters League, it was from like cannon rushing and proxy 2 gating. I remember Combat X's like first cannon rush video. Like he used to do like pretty good like YouTube tutorials on like how to help people improve at the game, and yeah, I remember his cannon rush on Metalopolis. I don't know. It was like one of the most broken things ever. Like you get the 3 pylons up, and then it's like pretty much unstoppable. And it was like pretty good for all 3 races because like you could put the pylons on the low ground too, and they would power the high ground in Wings of Liberty. Yeah. So yeah, that was the first time I got Masters. But then once he like kind of faded out of relevance and whatnot, I started watching Minigun more, who is like, the macro Protoss god. So yeah, I would like, I would watch his stream a lot, like, as well as like other players. But yeah, I would try and like basically take like the other good macro Protoss players and like, try and incorporate that into my play pretty much.
Yeah, and I think it definitely reflects that. I guess what do you're still a student full time, right?
Yeah.
What are you studying?
I'm studying computer science right now. I used to be a film media production major, but I recently switched.
As I learned very recently, as he was like, actually, 8 of the things that you're doing with this camera setup is totally wrong. And I'm like, oh, teach me, senpai.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I switched like from media production to computer science like a year ago. Yeah, I don't know. I just figured like I wasn't having as much fun with it as I was before, and I figured like there's more money in computer science. So
There is.
yeah, and also I was learning to do a little bit of coding on my own. So yeah, that's basically why I switched.
Nice. As a fellow computer science major, I welcome you to the field. That's really awesome. How many years do you have left?
About 2 years. I'm in community college right now, and I'll be transferring to Rutgers next year.
Oh, nice. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the CSL team, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I was at Rutgers last week. They had a little LAN, and I was able to win that finals 4-1, and I won a Samsung monitor. So
I saw that. Nice. That's a pretty good pickup.
yeah, I mean it wasn't like a big tournament, so like I wasn't like too like crazy happy about it, but you know it was nice to like go out there and meet the Rutgers CSL people. I know they have like a pretty good community there at Rutgers for esports. Like there's like a lot of people there at the Rutgers esports LAN. So yeah, it's cool that there's like little communities out there like that are supporting esports, and they still support StarCraft as well, and they want to continue that support.
Yeah, I mean, the grassroots esports scene is the thing that we can always rely on, I guess, like being there,
Yeah.
even if the other things end up like maybe slowly fading away. But yeah, dude, I actually want to ask you, like, I know that you are still, maybe you consider yourself a little bit further away from hitting like the skill level, but do you think there's a point where you feel like you get good enough at StarCraft and you consider like taking time off after you graduate or something like that?
I haven't really. I've thought about it. Like I've been on the fence, but I'm not sure if I really want to do that, because you know, I think at the end of the day it's like video games and you play it for fun, and I think, you know, getting like a real job, for me at least, is like the most important thing. But it would be like a really cool life-changing experience, I think, if I did take off some time. So like maybe, because like maybe I'll like wonder like what if I did take off some time and like see how good I could get. But I don't know. I felt like I haven't gotten to the level where I can justify taking off that time. So that's why I haven't. But maybe if I did, like if I was like, you know, qualifying for WCS like while being a student, I would consider it. But as of now, I don't feel like I've proved enough to myself to where I can justify it.
Yeah, it's a bridge you'll cross when you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So I want to talk to you a little bit about also the North American scene, because I think you're a really good example of up-and-coming player in the NA scene. Has shown like a lot of promise and everything. Has been able to experience things from like maybe a different perspective than you'd hear from, you know, talking to like Neve or Hearthstone or Peely Peely or something like that. So how do you feel about, like, for example, the WCS Challenger system right now?
It's a pretty interesting system right now. Like this season especially, there were a lot of new players who qualified. Like Sotorx, like nobody expected him. He's one name that stands out. Who else was there? Do you know?
In WCS Challenger, Silky was definitely like I think the most surprising one.
No, I don't think he was that surprising. Silky, I know for a while, even though like he doesn't play a lot apparently, I know like he's very good mechanically. But I know there's like some other names. I'm not thinking of that.
Scott I think nobody will disagree with you. Like, oh, Scott Torx qualified. Like, I didn't even know who he was, and I consider myself to follow the North American scene. But
going back to your question, I think the new system's good because like it gives that opportunity for those up and coming players to prove themselves. Like nobody would have ever heard of Sotorx like before without this system. So I think overall like the changes have been pretty good.
Yeah, awesome. And do you feel like there's enough like North American events, offline events, to kind of like prove yourself out? Like the Cheese. I know you've been an active participant in a lot of the Cheeseadelphias and everything.
Yeah, so I'm pretty fortunate to live on the East Coast where like there's a lot of small lands. Like there's the Cheesadelphias, there's the Psystorm Cups, and like, and Canada I guess is only like an 8-hour drive, so that's always doable. So yeah, attending a lot of events for me at least isn't that difficult. But I know for like the Midwest like kind of players and the West Coast, like, well, I guess the West Coast used to have more lands, but not so much recently. I think they kind of died off. But
Rest in peace, MLG Anaheim.
yeah, yeah. I think overall there could definitely be like more support for like at least like the non-East Coast areas for lands. But yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so final question before we kind of move into shout-outs and everything. I don't want to keep you here for too long. I know I want to watch some of the other matches also.
Yeah, I want to see Neeb in Showtime next. That should be a fucking great... Oh, am I allowed to curse?
No.
Oh.
This interview just got canceled. Mic drop.
I'm sorry. When we talk about like really great Protosses, I just get really passionate. So
It's totally fine. I'm super excited for Neeb Showtime as well. But yeah, I wanted to actually I mic drop and I also dropped my thoughts. So do you have any questions for me?
Oh, am I the interviewer now?
I don't know. I ran out. I forgot my questions. So
okay. Why do you care about North America so much? Right. Is that an insulting question?
That's actually an interesting question. I think for me, a lot of it, there's definitely like national pride and everything. It's like, there's like the national thing, like you want to root for your own team and everything that exists.
Like in World Cup, you want to root for the USA. And
Yeah, I couldn't name one player on the USA team, but by God damn it, I'm gonna root for them.
Yeah, yeah. Even though like the USA in the World Cup, like they're usually not as good. Like they can sometimes like take matches off like the better teams. So maybe that's how you look at it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's also like, if you're looking to make an impact in the scene, it's always easiest to like do the things closest to you. Like, I could say like, oh yeah, like let me go and contribute and try and make a better experience for like a lot of these Europeans or something. But if I'm gonna try and run a European truly focused and centric events, like I gotta take time off of work or something, or I gotta get up at 4 a.m, man. It's not easy. But I think yeah, I still do try and do some like stuff with Europeans, like EU Ladder Heroes, like contribute to Alima
Definitely
League.
do your fair share, and yeah, it's all about like supporting your home grounds. I know it wouldn't feel right if like you only like did EU instead of NA, because
Yeah, man, I don't know, some of these NA players give me trouble, not showing up for Ladder Heroes events, signing up and qualifying, and be like, actually, I think I'm free on this date, but I'm not free on those dates. And then the date comes around, they're like, where are you, man? I'm like, oh, sorry, I was oversleeping. I was like, it was 5 o'clock. Looking at you, Isaac. Panda bear me. More like panda bear sleep.
Panda bear sleep. Yeah, I know that's been like a struggle for you, like in the past for Ladder Heroes. Like, you have all these like great names that like they qualify, but then like they like forget about the Ladder Heroes.
That is, it's been less of a problem. It's actually is one of the really sad things I think about StarCraft and esports in general is that, and I feel like this is, I won't name any names, but I'm sure people, if they think hard enough or like look, they can probably find examples of it. But like a lot of the time, it's almost something that like people will do intentionally. They'll like complain about things on Twitter and be a little bit extra depressed about things. And I try not to do this too much, but like, unfortunately, being depressed and like super sad and being like, man, why do I even bother, blah, 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 I should just stop running events or something, like, it gets results. And like people who will be like, oh man, nobody signs up for my tournaments. And then players do start showing up when you could have just been doing it for like the exact same thing 7 weeks in a row or something. It's
basically like they complain when they're actually like part of the problem. Yeah. There's no reason to like ever be like too negative in my opinion, because like at the end of the day, it's like StarCraft. We're here to have fun, and so yeah, like if you're like complaining about like dead games, like viewership, like go do something else, man. If like if you don't like it.
Yeah, but I guess what I was saying was that it's like a really unfortunate thing, I think, but like a lot of the reason why they do it is not just because they're like trying to complain. I think it actually gets results in terms of like I was saying, if you complain about like, for example, if I started complaining about like, oh, nobody signed up for such and such event and I do it for like a week or two, those signups for my events will actually go up. And it's like, it really sucks that is actually a potential path for success. Because I feel like it's something that people end up being incentivized to do. But I think it does a lot of harm also, like you were saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I think recently, as you said, like your Ladder Heroes has been getting a lot more signups. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe that's it's definitely working.
You know, I know what the trick is, Adam.
What's the trick?
Trick is that you sign up once and then you're just signed up for every single one. And then it's actually great because I've definitely had like weeks where I like send a player payment. And I'm like, hey, did you get the money? And they're like, for what?
Are you talking about Huck? Like,
yeah, Huck did that a few times. Actually, Huck had fully transitioned to Overwatch at one point, and I'm like, well, he was at the top of the ladder, and he signed up for Ladder Heroes, so I'm gonna send him the money for it. I'm like, hey, you qualify for the monthly finals. He's like, what was this event again? But that's the secret, man. That's the secret. You never have anyone no-show for a ladder event because they're just playing on the ladder.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's funny. But
all right. Well, do you have any shout-outs that you want to do? And also, I want to hear one interesting fact that nobody knows about you.
Oh, man.
You can think about it while you do your shout-outs.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. All right. Shout out to Sloth Esports, my team. Shout out to all my teammates. And shout out to Stefan, our new Sloth Esports manager. He's been putting in a lot of work to help grow our team and transition from our old name, Team Ascension. And so you wanted to know one interesting fact about me
that nobody knows.
That nobody knows.
It could be 99% useless.
99% useless? Okay. Man. There's like so many different things, but I have to choose one.
You can tell us as many as you want.
Yeah, but like I can't think of one right now because you put me on the spot. This is like something I would need like 2 hours.
Okay. I believe in you.
Okay. You can cut this part and then
I'm not cutting this. This awkward silence is staying in here.
it's staying until I
I have enough stuff to do, man. I can't edit these interviews.
Shit.
It's going on YouTube.
Oh, I used to be able to juggle. I don't know if I still can.
What happened?
I don't know. I got bored. Maybe I still can.
How many things could you juggle?
I learned to juggle three balls.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty good.
It took a lot of like time and practice too, but you make a lot of mistakes and eventually you learn.
Just like StarCraft.
Yeah, pretty much, or anything in life, you know.
Do you have any shout-outs that you want to do?
I already did the shout-outs, Robbie.
You did some shout. Oh yeah, actually you did. I remember now.
Shout out to Travis, I guess. Travis, you're.
Yeah, Travis is like pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Adam Savage Creature, guys. Go check him out. Still an awesome up and coming NA Protoss player. Gonna join the ranks of all the god tier Protoss players soon and continue to dominate in North American region.
Robbie, you have a lot of hope for me.
I do. You know why? Because you read that book. You've read that book that I told you to get.
It's a really good book.
You're like I recommended to like 8 different players that I really, really like that book. It's called Mind Gym. Great sports psychology book. And Adam was the only one that read it. Like literally the only player that went and got it and read it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that. I was like one of the first. You know, I was the original. Like
I like you're the only person that I said to get it once and then went and got it and read it. Every other person, I either bought it for them or I told them this like over 8 times and then they finally got it and started reading it.
Yeah, maybe the trick for getting the NA scene to do well is just to buy like 100 copies of those books and then just send it out to like the top 100 Grandmaster list.
Yeah. I mean, I've considered giving it away as a prize for Ladder Heroes or something.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I brought like 6 copies. I bought 6 copies of the book and brought it with me to Austin. Yeah. You probably would have gotten one if you hadn't already read it.
Yeah. But yeah, I know Raze and Game Time, like right when they got those books, like they had their eyes glued to it. Like Raze, like after like less than an hour, like he was on page 50.
Yeah, he said he read the whole thing. which is insane to me because I didn't even give the book to him. I gave it to Game Time. And secondly, I think that he got the book. He like took the book from Game Time like 11 o'clock at night or something, or like 10 o'clock at night. And he was just like, yeah, I read it. And I was like, the next day, I'm like, what? Did you sleep?
Yeah, he was just up all night reading that book. It was funny. And I'm like, yeah, I already read this book. I know. And he's just like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And yeah, I know.
Artosis' recommendation. Thank you, Artosis. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. And thanks for joining me, dude. But we'll see you guys next time.